What's up, y'all? I'm going to be hosting a working session, probably about 2 hours or so. And I hope to do more of these coming up in the future, but we're going to get into your campaign architecture, your tagging, your segmentation, your pricing, your emails, your funnel structure, literally whatever y'all want to talk about for whoever is on the call. Like I said, it'll be about 2 hours or so of real time work. So let me give you a little bit of context around the kind of stuff that we can go through. I started my Instagram channel in basically the first week of January this year. So far, totally organically, I've gotten over 1 million views on my shorts. This one has 695,000. The majority of my videos average anywhere from a few hundred to several thousand views, most of them, a couple thousand. Got another one on here that's gotten 295,000. This right here. This is all organic. And last year, I got serious about social media and hired an agency to build out my social media and paid them over 10 grand per month for 3 to 4 months, over 50 grand total. And I got basically no results. So I took everything I learned from working with them and being in the masterminds I was in last year. And I just created my own framework. I'll call it 1 minute expert. It's what I've been using to generate these results. And all of this is organic. My reach is 30 days, 80 some thousand. So all of this, we can talk about stuff like this. Let me just tell y'all why I am doing this. I've been in this space, the online education space, now 6 years. Y'all, there are so many people who are well intended and just terrible operators, and a lot more who just don't have great intentions, are looking to make money, will say anything to get a dollar. And to be honest with you, there's so much jargon. There's a level of technical acumen and specificity that you need if you're going to be able to scale anything that you're doing online and not have this band-aid offering that requires your time and your energy all the time in order to do more. Let me show y'all what I'm talking about, because over these last 6 years, I've wasted just an exorbitant amount of money. And it wasn't until this year that I really got clear on what I need to get clear on, that there are 4 things that must be in place if you're going to be able to scale your expertise online, turn into passive income, and then not take up all your time. You got to have organic audience building. So that's a framework for social media that doesn't take all day, but that can create big results and create plenty of content, short form content, 15 to 58 seconds, that is proliferating your timeline every single day and allowing people to get to know you as a person and a professional. Need that out there. You can tap on paid ads to that, but it's not a necessity if you're not trying to scale a huge business. You just want to make 5 to 10 grand a month. You don't have to have ads. If you want to make 50, 100 grand a month, you probably need ads. But you still, same framework that's necessary for that storytelling that does not require a bunch of your time. So that's organic audience building online. Number 2, you need qualified list building. That's when you take those eyeballs and you send them to a website and they're now there because they're interested in learning more about what you do, you need a way to quickly qualify them, segment them appropriately, and send them to invitations and offers that match where they are inside of your framework. And you do need a framework. You got to be able to tell people you're trying to get from this place to this place and you're this person. Here are the 5 steps or the 7 steps or the 3 things that you're going to go through. Here are your milestones. Here's what's going to happen before and after this milestone. Here's what's going to happen before and after this milestone. Here's the challenges that you're going to have. Here's the solutions that we have that map right onto those challenges. That's what must be true if you're not going to do a lot of phone sales and going to move people through in a way where they're like, this person knows what they're talking about. You got to have copy that clearly shows people where they're at on your customer journey. That's all customer avatar work. But there's technical stuff that goes along with it to have your system segment them properly and move them through automated. Number 3, you got to have warm network campaigns. There's almost no one who I've met in this space who's more of like a novice and who doesn't do this for a living, who understands how to put together multi-stage, multi-channel campaigns across social media, across email, that you're literally taking multiple emails, multiple communications that are telling a brand story over 14, 21 days and routing people over time to a climax, a deadline driven event that anchors the end, whether it's a 3-day accelerator, whether it's a webinar something, there's a campaign driving them to that 30-minute, 60-minute, 90-minute event or series of events that's going to end, and they're going to have a limited time to make a move. They got to get off the pot or do what they're going to do. And that is how human nature works. So if you don't build it in, it's not just tactics. Like, this is how we work. If we don't have to make a move, we won't. So you got to know how to build that in. Part of that is strategy. Part of that is tone. Part of that is your copy. Part of that is your visuals and your presentation. And the biggest part of it, if you're going to scale it, is actually the automation. And last, when we're talking about marketing automation, you need marketing, sales, as well as fulfillment. So delivery of that thing after somebody's bought it. Let me tell you why this is really something that I care about at this point. This last year was in 4 masterminds, over $100,000 worth of masterminds, to learn and be in the rooms with the best and brightest people who people with big names, so that I can see how my frameworks and what I'm doing stack up against the people who are best in breed around the country and around the world. I learned what I needed to learn about where my stuff stacks up. From the stage in those masterminds, I literally, assuming that I didn't know what I needed to know, right? I'm an outsider in this industry, assuming that if I hire directly from the stage, the people who are in these $25,000, $50,000 per year masterminds with the best in the country, they're leading the room. They're the ones leading the training. So assuming that if they're leading those trainings, that if I hire them, they're definitely going to get me what I need. And so they charge top dollar too. So I hire people, ad management, email copywriting, social media management, operations. Not a single person was less than $5,000 a month. And most of them were 5 figures a month. Well over $100,000 spent in hiring and firing over the last year. And I'm going to show y'all just 3 of the communications, 2 of which are people who I hired who, just wrapping up now. This is an operations team that I hired, spent 20 grand with this team. And at the end of the day, and I like these people, right? I think they're very nice people. I enjoy them as humans. But when it boils down to the end of the day, let me just share the screen so y'all can see this clearly. All right, so I'm sharing my screen with more detail so y'all can really see this communication. All right, and again, this has nothing to do with disliking anybody. Like, I'm a professional. I can separate business stuff, and I actually like these people. But I want to give y'all an idea. I hired this company to manage operations for me. They were amongst other things, they were supposed to run a comprehensive multi-stage, multi-channel launch campaign for my Launching Today program, stuff that I do right now and have done for years for other people. I do this, but here I am, I'm assuming, well, this company does it at the highest level. There's probably stuff that they know that I'm going to need. So let me hire them to do what I already do for me. So here at the end of that, months and months go by. I'm not going to get into all the details of why things didn't ever launch, but I sat patiently by and I just waited. I didn't want to press too hard. I just let things slide. And at the end of it, it was a less than professional completion of this particular engagement. And so I just said, you know what, guys, if you don't mind, we didn't complete things as they were supposed to be. May I have a partial refund? Didn't even ask for a whole refund, but I spent 20 racks here, $20,000. Can I'd like to get some sort of refund. And I talked to, one of the owners of the team, and they had told me that based on what they saw, they thought it would be appropriate to consider a partial refund. But when it came down to it, this person switched their perspective on the follow-up communication a couple months later. And I get this saying, hey, we did the things to the best of our abilities. We don't think that a refund is warranted. And so, here's what I said. And this is literally days ago, y'all. This is me, I'm going to always keep it professional, but that's unfortunate, and I don't have a perspective or feelings. What I do have is a contract. Deliverables are either done or they're not done, and they're not done. And this is not, if I could tell y'all how many times this has happened to me in the last 6 years in this industry, in particular, man, it's over $250,000 of money spent trying to hire the best and the brightest, or who you think is going to be the best and the brightest. And these are very intelligent people. These are accomplished people, but I can't tell you how many engagements have ended like this. And I am not the anomaly. This happens to a lot of people who are experts. You're really good at something. You want to get your thing out online. You want to make a difference with people. You want to create an extra stream of income doing it. And in earnest, you hire a person or an agency, and it goes like this. And you try to get the next best one, and you're spending 10 grand, 15, 25 for this mastermind or this person. And it goes like this, and it goes like this, and it goes like this. And y'all, I document more than most. I'm not even going to open up this document, but when I tell you receipts, I keep screenshots of what was and wasn't said. I know dates and times, timestamps. You're not going to tell me that I'm to blame for something if you don't have receipts. And so if we're going to end it, if you're going to tell me, well, my team created everything they're supposed to create, you just didn't implement Thomas, or you chose to. Okay, cool. Tell you what, do me a favor and send over documentation of all the things that I missed, because I don't recall receiving any of these things. This is what a comprehensive campaign looks like, y'all. It's everything that needs to be in place on paper for you to launch a full scale campaign. Part of my SOPs, my standard operating processes in my company, we have all this documentation for every campaign that I do for myself and for clients. And so I assume, working with the best, right, that they have this. And if you're going to tell me that you created a full campaign, no problem. Send me this. So at least if you didn't execute the campaign, at least let me get the documentation of what you were going to do. Do I expect that they're going to send me this? No, I don't, because I don't think they actually did this work. I don't think they did. But if I get it, great. Then I'll be surprised and I'll get to compare it at least to what I normally do. And that'll be what I spent 20 grand on, to compare somebody else's campaign to what I already do. That is not an anomaly. This is another email sent. You can see the date, a few days ago. This is a sales team that I hired at the end of last year. Spent 3-4 months. This team, $20,000 over the 20 grand spent. They didn't get a single sale, not even something that approached a sale. And they would not refund a penny, wouldn't do anything. Matter of fact, when I asked for a refund, they were willing to give a credit of $1,800 for the next month of. I'm like, are you kidding me? You're going to give me a partial credit. You can't even do anything, and you're going to ask for more of my business? No, thank you. 20 grand spent with that team. Now let me show you what the foolery really looks like. This is a person who I was evaluating last year to do some social media management. And this person dropped big names, all the clients they work with. And let me tell you, they were referred to me highly by someone who leads very high level programs in the online education space. And this person spoke so highly of them in the past. Before last year, I would have just took them on their word and I would have hired that person. But because of my experiences over the last 18 months, I knew better. And I said, let me just do my normal vetting that I've learned to do. This person's going to charge me $2,000 per month to do social media management. 2 grand per month. Okay. All right. Well, what does that include? So I asked some questions. Wait a minute. So you're trying to tell, and I'm in green here, right? You're telling me for $2,000 a month that this does not include scheduling and publishing the social media posts? You're a social media manager. What do you mean you're not going to schedule and post the posts? And so then we scroll down a bit more and we see, okay, apparently when I said it back to them, they realized it wasn't logical either. Okay, well, hey Thomas, you know what? Sorry, I was managing things on my end. Yeah, I'll include all 6 tasks. I'm going to schedule 2. Okay, cool. So now you're gonna document and plan. You're gonna copyright. You're gonna do the strategy, tracking, reporting, and scheduling. Mind you, this is all that I detailed. And then we scroll down. Well, how many posts a week does that include? Because they didn't tell me that. Now, if I didn't know better, I wouldn't have even thought to ask them specifically how many posts does social media management include. But I did ask that because I've had experiences now where I didn't and realized, oh, you're talking about 1 post per week, as opposed to 3 or 4 or 5. And so we scroll down, and this is where it goes left. I asked them, can you send me 3 pages of clients for each channel TikTok, IG and Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, that you're quoting me for, that you're saying you're going to manage. I want to see three channels that you're managing right now that match the thing you're quoting me on. And here's where we get to it. Oh, actually, I haven't actually written a lot of copy for social media. I just basically do sales pages and emails a lot. So I don't really have anything to send you. And so, let me clarify. Wait a minute. wait a minute. So, sir, are you telling me that you actually have zero clients and basically no direct experience in this specialized competency that you're quoting me $2,000 per month to manage for me? Ha ha ha. No, sir. No, I don't run an agency and I'm not a freelancer. I just kind of, get in there and help people build their businesses, whatever you need. Social media being a part of it, even though I don't really do social media. So actually, is it a part of it? No, it's not really a part of it. So the reason why I am doing this, and I'm gonna start doing this with consistency, is I wish I could say that those things are the exception and not the rule. I really wish I could. I can't. I can't. This is how it actually goes really consistently in this industry. And this is not to take away from the industry overall. There are some really, really smart people. And there are some people who do good business here. There's a lot of people who don't. There's also a lot of people who are well intended, but are actually just not very good operators of their business. They make promises that they can't keep. They make promises that they intend to keep, but don't realize that they're not qualified to. They say they can do anything that you need when they haven't asked you what you need. They haven't qualified anything. This is the norm in this space. I've spent 6 years getting a really good understanding of the technical specifics that must be in place, the softwares that need to be in place. And I've spent a lifetime, 25 years now, learning deep dive attraction based marketing and sales philosophy and testing it. High ticket stuff, low ticket stuff, brick and mortar, online products, doesn't really matter. You want to know why? Because when you operate inside of principles, human principles, it doesn't matter whether we're talking about a text message, an email, a phone call, face to face. Principle is principle is principle around how human beings respond to communication. Now, you can learn some tactics that may be useful across different mediums, but if you understand the principles, that applies no matter what tool you're using and no matter what medium that you're using. And I have built a framework that is based on principles. So I'm going to start doing more of these. I'm going to start doing more of these working sessions. First one, again, for people who are business professionals, entrepreneurs, or speakers, business owners, consultants, people who have a defined framework, not people who are just kind of knowledgeable in general or good at something. If you have a defined framework, a way that you do things again and again with a particular group of people to produce a particular result, and you do that offline, you make a really good living doing that offline, and you want to do that online to generate an additional stream of income and ultimately create automation for marketing, sales, fulfillment to automate that so it becomes a passive stream of income. That's what these work sessions are going to be about. These are distinct from my programs. These are just going to be whoever's on the call, we're just going to do work asynchronously. Maybe you're on that week, we do some stuff. Maybe a few other people on the next week. Whoever's on, we just going to get to it. We can talk about, a lot of y'all have asked about segmentation. So when I'm doing offers, I'll do things like you see here. This is one of my Luminary partners, which is a company that my company manages all the back end operations for, because we have a fully built out sales system, my online Luminary system, that is for people who are business professionals, experts who are selling online education stuff. But people wonder how to build in segmentation so you know exactly who your customer avatar is. And when somebody, for example, submits a form, then how do you have it, depending on what they submit, go to one offer, or if they submit a different thing, take them to a different offer. These are what we call milestone stages that we document and make sure that the offers that people, whether they're coming in hot from our email list or cold from an ad campaign, we want to make sure that all of those leads hit an offer that is appropriate for them, whether they're low ticket or high ticket. We can talk about stuff like that. And I tend to do this on every offer that I have for my own offers as well. And even this page you're looking at, I didn't get this from somebody else's funnel. I call this an access list page. I use an alert list when I'm doing a specific campaign to launch a new offer. After it's launched, I transition to what's called an access list. And I use this in lieu of a lead magnet, instead of a lead magnet for your exact target customer to be interested and opt in. Here, we're going to tell them a little bit of social proof. Down here, we're going to give them a little bit about the offer and context. This 60-second video is in a particular format to tell who this offer is for, what the promise is, where they're at inside of your framework, and what comes next. And ultimately, when they click the button, we're always going to do a little bit of qualification. So it's not just like, give me your email list and then jump in. We're going to qualify this a little bit and tell them, if you're this person, so like you got to have some credentials, here's the qualifier, looking for this thing, then jump on this list. On mine, people put in their name. Then we come down to my qualifying stages. So the way that my people are qualified, if they're a business professional or a speaker or entrepreneur who is looking to sell their expertise online and first make income and then put the system in place to generate passive income as a dedicated stream, these are the stages in order to do that. And they can locate themselves in one of these 5 stages. But, creating structures like this starts with the work to define your avatar first. Then we create the automation and which software tools do you use to create these dynamic forms so that when somebody actually submits their form based on what stage they're in, one, they're super, super clear what their next steps are. But also, we're going to give them a particular offer if they're not at a particular place of readiness. And if they're at a different stage of readiness, then they're going to get taken to a different offer. So somebody who's not as far along, I would take them directly to the 4-day intensive, which is an automated 4-day program, which is better than most people's courses that take you through how to launch an online course, but it gets them foundationally ready so that when they come through the other side of my funnel and they're ready for my launch in a day program, the full live intensive, I know that they can get that course launched, the first stage of it, in under 4 hours, which is going to be a ridiculous result for them. But I know they're ready because I've sent them to the appropriate offer to get them ready. And then I can, if they're that person, I can take them through a registration for a readiness audit, which is going to ask them all the questions that I would ask, but get them really, really clear that I am the person who's going to be able to help them along. And I take care to make sure that everybody knows who is and who isn't a fit. We can talk through all of this stuff, what it looks like. We can talk through how to do your funnel tracking appropriately so you always know what is happening at every stage of your funnel and your team documents things properly. Any of these things are fair game. Literally, whatever you want to work on, I want this to just be sessions where we can roll our sleeves up, get some dirt underneath the fingernails, and whether people are trying to talk about qualified list building, online audience building, warm network campaigns, or automation for marketing, sales, and fulfillment, literally whatever you're working on, we can just get into the weeds of the technical specifics, because I've seen so many people, myself first included, just honestly get fleeced by people who are, some of them well-intended, some of them not, but who say they're experts, who say that they're the person that you need. And honestly, they don't know what you need. They're not listening to the resources that you have, the relationships that you do and don't have, the access that you do and don't have to create a strategy that's appropriate for you to get you out of the gate. So everybody who I'm going to talk to on these calls is not going to be a fit for other programs. I'm just really wanting to get people out of the gate. So I'm going to trade a little bit of my time to help people along the way and just like get quick projects done, quick answers, quick questions answered. And that's what it's going to look like. So let me give y'all a couple more examples while I'm on here. If you want to get into stuff like this, where I take my format for identifying your primary narrative, your customer avatar, their customer ascension journey, which is those milestone stages that we talked about, the predictable roadblocks that they're going to face on those milestones, the brand stories that you need to have 15 to 58 seconds at a time so you can share them on social media to tell this story about those milestone stages and those roadblocks, your primary offers that map onto those milestone stages in your customer ascension journey, what your marketing and sales process needs to be, the automation, the fulfillment of all that stuff, and then map that directly onto real offers to first identify what the gaps are in your process, and then reframe your narrative, reframe your solutions to fill in those gaps, identify which particular offers that are a best fit for you, what the price point should be. Literally, whatever y'all want to talk about, we can get into it on these calls. I really want them to be working sessions. And that's a wrap, folks. I am here to be of service. I don't want to see another person who's in my network go through some of the stuff that I have gone through inside these last 6 years and definitely over the last year and a half. That's it. Hope to see you soon.